The second Dune Part 3 trailer gives us a closer look at what we should expect to see in the third and final film in Denis Villeneuve's Dune trilogy. This trailer was more of a character-driven take, showing us the dynamics between each important character, and the main focus is Jason Momoa as Hate. In this video we'll be breaking down everything you might have missed in Dune Part 3 Trailer 2. And if you're hyped for Dune 3, don't forget to hype this video as well. Now let's get straight into the trailer breakdown. Paul and Chani reunite in this emotionally charged scene after Chani walks away in Dune Part 2. Later on in the trailer we see them reconcile in the same scene. Here Paul and Chani both cradle the twins in their arms, Chani wearing the blue Nizoni scarf with a ponytail. This could be a possible future scene because it is grainy. The proper family he could never truly have because of what he became, or what he chose to become. Paul overlooks his army. If you listen carefully, the crowd are chanting Lisan al-Ghaib. We see Chani with two children. These are the twins Leto and Ghanima. She's being observed with Fremen binoculars. You can see Neo Shokopsa writing in the viewfinder. This is likely Paul or his scouts, perhaps even Sightale. Chani lets go of her Nizoni scarf. This is symbolic of her letting go of Paul. He finds the scarf and eventually wears it, because he hasn't let go of her. We can see him wearing the scarf in this poster. After Chani's statements, we hear Paul ask,
"What do you know about me?"
He isn't asking Chani this, he's asking Hate, who he meets later on in the throne room and interrogation cell. It's just clever editing. We see people crucified on X's or Crux Decusata, more commonly known as St. Andrew's Cross, which was used by the Romans. The imagery actually comes from scrapped scenes from Dune Part 1 scripts that speak of hundreds of black metal crosses, X-shaped, standing in ragged rows, described as looking like Golgotha. The scene was originally intended to show Harkonnen treachery. Instead, it has been repurposed for Paul's reign as Emperor. This is Alia walking among them, the ground covered in cremated human ash, the remnants of Paul's previous victims. There are even more fields of them, stretching for miles behind her. The carpet of Paul's palace looks symbolic of the Golden Path and the many threads of the future. All paths lead to this moment of Paul becoming Emperor and sitting on the Hagar Emerald throne. Frank Herbert uses the metaphor of threads to describe time and prescience. Paul views future timelines as threads, with the Golden Path requiring him to navigate them carefully. Alia is seen sitting to the side of the Emerald Throne. The throne is cut at both sides to create two extra seats. In this shot, Alia has a drawn Fremen crysknife in her hands, and as per Fremen custom, this means she definitely intends to shed blood, perhaps offering to kill Hate for Paul and rid them of this unnatural clone that shouldn't exist. Paul unsheathes a blade and throws it to Hate in order to fight him in one-on-one combat. He throws the sheath or scabbard onto the floor. You can see the blade is already on the ground. Hate cautiously picks it up, unsure whether or not he should, as the Kisrid guards draw their own blades. But what's clear is Paul wants this fight. You can see him immediately lunge into the fight, even before Hate picks up his sword. And Paul bests Hate, similarly to how he bested Gurney on Caladan. But unlike then, they aren't using shield protection, so the stakes are much higher. We see an interrogation room. The background motif looks like a different form of a cross, such as the Iota Chi in Christianity, which stand for the initial letters of Jesus Christ in Greek. But it also looks similar to the alchemic symbol for copper and copper acetate in Heretics of Dune, one of the later books in the series by Frank Herbert. It describes a small copper-walled and copper-toned room which was spy-proof, shielded from Ixian spy devices, the kind of walls you'd want in an interrogation room to keep vital information a secret. This is a statue of Paul Atreides, in his Emperor form. He holds a sphere which is likely the planet Arrakis, and above it sits the hawk crest of House Atreides. He's holding the orb in his left hand. In Dune, the left hand is known as the left hand of the damned, not the right hand which is blessed. This is linked to Islamic eschatology, symbolizing eternal damnation on the Day of Judgment, should you be so unfortunate to be given your book of deeds in the left hand. Paul's Imperial Palace looks like an upside-down pyramid, a completely different kind of structure from the ziggurat style of the original Arrakeen Keep, something the Fremen have never seen before or have been able to build until now. This is Irulan. As she's Paul's royal wife in name only, she is still offered the courtesies of the royal court and respected. This looks like Korba. We also see him in the throne room. We see Irulan several times throughout the trailer. Here she is caked in mud, perhaps a ritual performed by the Bene Gesserit, but this seems to take place in the Imperial Palace, as the scene features the circular architectural motifs we see in several of the palace rooms. We see Edric entering a gathering with Scytale. In the room are the guild representatives and the Bene Gesserit. You can see Scytale is wearing guild attire. This is Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohiam, who has a strange opened box. This isn't the pain box we saw from Dune Part 1, but it's a box of tarot cards, something it seems that she will use throughout. We see the same cards in a separate promo video for Dune Part 3. This is Leto's skull. You can see Atreides hawks above it, surrounded by what looks like the Fremen language Shakopsa. In Dune Part 2, Paul sees Fremen worshipping at the shrine of his father's skull, which was also in Paul's vision in Dune Part 1. It looks very different from his actual vision. Here we see a skull kept in a dark room, away from pilgrims, perhaps in a bid for Paul to do whatever he can to control the future. Paul wears what looks like Buddhist robes. This is Javier Bardem, who plays Stilgar, seeing a sea for the first time, and this is the character Farouk seeing it too. Perhaps this is the moment that they are both cured of what the movies call the Holy War. The trailer features 4 shots we've already seen before in Dune Parts 2. Everyone kneeling before Paul in the Arrakeen Keep after he defeats Fade, Princess Irulan looking at him, Paul turning to look at Chani, and the former Emperor Shaddam IV kissing Paul's hand with the signet ring. Hey, stop cheating, show us shots from Dune Part 3, but I digress. We see sparks of golden light, what looks like the psychedelic unit, a special unit devised for Dune Part 3 to capture Paul's visions. Golden light could be symbolizing the golden path. We see a black eye, which is also covered by a visor or helmet. We see Paul with black eyes, wearing the stillsuit visor above his head, the same one that seems to cover his black eyes here. Here we see Chani. She's no longer wearing the Nazoni scarf. They seem to be tired from running and taking a moment in a place of safety. This Fremen seems to be looking up at a sandworm, and it seems like an attack by Chani and her people to down Scytale's ornithopter, using the desert and its creatures to fight back. Or perhaps they could be running from a sandworm which they're trying to capture. This is a new ornithopter design for the Tleilaxu. We see Scytale inside the vehicle, with the same window panes. The ornithopter comes dangerously close to a sandworm. He has a crysknife, which means he likely tries to impersonate another Fremen like Chani. We see a shot of Chani in a newer stillsuit. This is likely Scytale because the real Chani only wears old stillsuits. You can see Chani speaking in a completely informal tone, calling him by his full name. Paul seems to be holding a Molet pistol. His robes seem to have crosses on it too, similar to the interrogation room. Alia keeps Reverend Mother Mohiam in a prison or dungeon at the royal palace, and whatever Mohiam tells her, she doesn't seem too pleased.
It's an abomination.
But it seems that this isn't merely a scream. She seems to be giving Mohiam an order or something like, "Turn now." Perhaps using the voice on her. This looks like Duncan confronting Chani's Fremen. They wear the older stillsuits. Duncan wears an interesting crest on his back, which looks like a symbol of a bull, the same as the defeated bullhead that we saw in Dune Part 1, that hung in the Arrakeen Keep belonging to the Atreides. Duncan now represents the defeated bull that came back to life as hate, the bull that never truly dies. He says that he fears dishonor, but in a true sign of honor, he salutes his enemies. This salute could be to Paul himself, a callback to Dune Part 1. We see a figure behind Paul, which looks like the Sandworm steersman. Paul faces the oncoming threat of Duncan Idaho or hate, so this seems to be post the Stoneburner scene. We see an explosion in the sands. This is actually from a lasgun beam. You can see the beam here, which stops at least 2 sandworms in their tracks, with people on board. The beam is shot from a vehicle in the sky above, and this could have been Paul himself, as he seems to have a lasgun at his back, the same one he wears here, in a scene from the first trailer, because we now know he is the one wearing the Nazoni scarf. This is Chani standing before a sandworm. They use technology to help call or capture the worm, but this is the same scene we see her actively calling a sandworm with her feet, which I mentioned in my first trailer breakdown. You can see she's barefoot in this scene too. It gives the impression of the character Shiana from the later books, but the purpose here seems to be breaking Paul's monopoly over the spice by capturing a sandworm. This is the Stoneburner scene. In the first trailer, I revealed that this shot was Paul being flung back by the blast. The second trailer shows Paul in more detail. Here he's wearing Chani's blue Nazoni scarf, and the same robes as the scene with Scytale as Chani. You can also see Paul wearing the new stillsuit. He wears it on several occasions, so this is likely Paul as well. Paul says,
"Forgive me for all I've done."
He's not alone in the room. His eyebrows are singed from the stone burner. He seems to be looking solemnly at someone who has passed away, and I think we all know who that is. And that's it. I hope you liked my breakdown of the second Dune Part 3 trailer. If you enjoyed this, hype the video, and if you want to see more like this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.